Yes, it happened. I got sick of making scrunchies, so now I'm going to make a book sleeve. I'm going to be using the same fabric I use for the scrunchies, well, the deep red purple one anyway. I'm going to use these old pyjamas for the ribbon, and I'm going to use this old top for the inner lining. The colour match is not very aesthetic, but I'm not going for the aesthetics. I'm just literally not going to use this top again, and I don't like the colour, so I don't see thrifting it into something else, so might as well use it for my book sleeve. I folded my fabric over just to cut the two outside pieces in one go. It saves me time and makes sure that they're both the same dimensions as much as possible. So I'm doing 21 by 27 centimeters, I think. And there's a bit of leeway on each of the sides just because I know I will lose some in the process of sewing. And of course, is it a sewing video if I'm not raging? Anyways, I unfold it and cut it in the middle, and here are the two pieces done. I then lay one of the main fabric piece on the tank top that I'm using as my inner lining and trace my piece. Again, this makes sure that the dimensions are as close to each other as possible. And that is the inner lining done as well. And then for the cute ribbon piece, I cut off a piece of the pyjama bottoms and basically just cut out a rectangle. I think this was 10 by 5 centimeters. I made sure that they were straight on all sides, as bottoms are usually sewn at an angle. No technical words here, please. I'm sure there's a specific term for it in sewing. So here are the two pieces, and then I folded them in half and then cut off around 2 centimeters from the top at an angle, and this is going to create the ends of the ribbon. I decided I wanted to do a quilted book sleeve, so I used the cutout of the inner lining and cut out my wadding by tracing it. So here are all the pieces, and now I am ready to start sewing. Starting with the ribbon, I folded the piece in half and sewed from the pointed top all the way along, but not sewing the bottom shut, as I need this to flip the ribbon later on. And again, is it a sewing video if I'm not rethreading a million times? Anyways, just do that to both ribbons, and remember to backstitch on both ends to secure it. I then flipped the ribbon using a bodkin to get the good side out, which probably wasn't the best idea. I don't think it really needed a bodkin to do this, as I really struggled. So for the second ribbon, I literally just went in there and flipped it, no issues. You just have to make sure to push the ends out completely so it looks clean and it actually looks like a cute ribbon. So here are the ribbon pieces. I think looking at it, I kind of realized it probably wasn't going to be long enough to tie a ribbon, but it'll be enough to close the sleeve at least with one knot. So I'm going to move on to something that I do not know how to do. What's new? I am going to quilt this thing. And from what I have seen, it's just literally sewing multiple vertical lines. I think though this is quite thick. From the videos I've seen, it's pretty much just literally like a really thin lining, and this seems to be quite thick, but maybe it will get thinner once I've sewn the lines all the way across. Oh my gosh, I have to rethread again, honestly. What is the issue with this? Like every time I sew, I have to thread it like freaking million times. This is really not going straight. Hopefully this one goes a bit better. Again, re-threading again. Oh my days. You know what? I need a biscuit. Why? Who said this was beginner friendly? At this point, nothing is beginner friendly when it comes to me. What do you mean? So at this point I have some real things. I don't know. I'm cutting the excess thread just to neaten the pieces up, and because this has gone really south, I ended up with a lot of excess wadding as well, so I'm also cutting those off just so it's all tidy before I put them together. So now that I have the quilted pieces, I've put them together with good sides facing each other and sewing all three sides. I'm going to turn it right side out. I think I've cut off so much from the edges that I feel like this book is not going to fit in here anymore. Maybe just about. But she's not looking too bad. Actually feels really comfy and soft. So now I'm going to sew the ribbons on the onto the book sleeve, and basically I think with this you just want to be as close to the edge as possible. I'm measuring where the middle of the sleeve is to sew the ribbon right in the middle. I made the stupid mistake of sewing on the wadding side rather than the fabric side on this step, which caused me a lot of pain, as you will see later on. Just don't do it. Don't make this mistake.
Whatever, don't do it, just don't do it.
Now I'm going to sew the inner linings because I've had to kind of make the sleeve smaller than the initial measurement. The lining will be slightly bigger, so I do have a lot of room on the sides, so I don't need to sew really close to the edges. Basically, the size of the inner lining is probably very different to the size of the actual sleeve. Oh, I really hope I don't run out of thread. I'm sewing all three sides, making sure to leave a gap at the bottom for flipping the sleeves later on. Now that the inner lining is done, I'm putting the book sleeve in the inner lining and clipping all the way across the top to keep it in place when I'm sewing. goodness. I think I've done it wrong. No! Oh. The ribbon is literally inside the lining. Oh, that's so annoying. I might just cut a hole. Why did I do that? Please tell me why. It's not like I'm about to run out of thread or anything. To fix my lack of skill, I made a hole to pull the ribbon through and then sewed it shut. Now that I actually have the ribbon on the outside rather than trapped inside, I then sewed the inner lining shut and then pushed it back into the book sleeve, making sure to push the corners all the way. I then sewed the top part to make sure the inner lining doesn't shift when I'm using the book sleeve. Here is the finished product. The moment of truth is, does this still fit? Oh my gosh. It does, but she's a tight squeeze in there. I need a smaller book. This is an excuse to buy another book. And can I tie it close? I can. She's kind of cute. Honestly, this fabric is just so like, it just feels so luxurious and soft. I hope this has inspired you to try making a book sleeve or just trying another sewing project. I hope to do more sewing projects soon. Maybe a better book sleeve would be a good idea. Bye!